I wanted to throw up if someone looked at me too hard.
You still will.
Hello, good morning, BBs.
Good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And listen, just a little, if we could give you just a little peek behind the curtain, we don't like to go too much into production issues here because we like everything to seem magical, you know? We like
As is, it seems like everything here runs like magic.
I know to you, it seems like we run everything smoothly and this is a perfect magical show that just happens. But let me tell you something. We spent about 4 minutes before we went live centering our confidence monitor in a way that was okay for both of our neurodivergent problems.
Yeah, we did.
Like the little monitor that we look at to see ourselves and you that's right under the camera, we had to make sure that it was centered between us, that it was facing exactly forward, and that the base of the monitor wasn't turned at a weird angle.
Yeah.
Everything had to be straight on, otherwise we simply could not do the show.
So if you're wondering why we're late, no, we're not.
No, we're not.
You shut your mouth.
Keep it quiet.
And if we were, that would be why.
Crooked wire covered? No, there isn't. This is perfect. There's no wires. This is a perfectly smooth surface. There's no wires. Crooked wire cover.
What are you talking about?
Are you accusing us of some sort of corruption? And also, I'm not wearing a wire. Or am I?
Nice. You got him.
I had my fingers crossed the whole time.
Anthony,
that's illegal.
I went out into the world last night.
Yeah. First of all, you went out into the world and look at your beautiful hair. You came back with beautiful hair.
Thank you. Thank you.
We call this classic Saige.
Yeah. New old hair, baby. It's back. And it didn't burn my head.
That's great.
For those who don't know why my hair has been black for the last 6 months, it's because in trying to make my hair pink, I severely chemical burned my scalp previously.
Yeah.
And
so
it
that's
was
fun.
A nightmare. But I went out into the world.
Yes.
I was going with our friend Spider Josh to go and see a show.
Great.
And it was just...
What was it, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
You went to see Oklahoma.
Yeah, we went to see Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It was
there was a local high school that was just putting on Oklahoma.
Well,
sometimes she and Josh just cruise around looking for school theater departments that are putting on musicals.
We're not Colleen Ballinger.
Hey, topical.
We will give a quick update on that in a minute. But no, it is very funny because we had looked at this like local venue that just puts on shows that are like cheap tickets. Lots of bands play there. And Josh had looked it up and been like, I've never heard of this band. Let me look them up. We listened to a song. We were like, that's dope. That's dope. And it's like 5 dudes that look like they're in their like 30s doing like emo shit, right?
I'm glad that you have Josh. I'm glad that you
no
and
one
Josh,
else would do this.
I'm glad that you and Josh work here and are friends because Josh is the only person out of all your friends that would call you up and be like, let's go see a random band we'd never heard of.
Correct. Well, 2 weeks ago, I called Josh and I said, I want to go to a trampoline park.
Now, see, that's, to me, that sounds normal.
Interesting. Okay, so that's the trade-off in my opinion. So anyways, we go to this venue and we know that Josh was going to be coming back late from his other job and that we were only going to catch the headliner.
Yeah.
Which we thought was these 5 dudes in an emo band. We walk in as the headliner is going on and it's not. It's 2 teenagers. And Josh and I are like, who the fuck is this? And we're definitely standing next to their parents.
Oh, cute.
Hyping them up as they go on. The kids are like, you know, probably 15, 16.
That's adorable.
2-person band.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do they play? What kind of a setup is it for this 2-person band?
Guitar and vocals.
Yeah.
Drums.
Okay.
That's it.
Mates of State sort of thing.
And I was like, should we go? Like, maybe we should get out of here. And then they start. These kids fucking jam.
Yeah, they're the headliner.
Tiny venue.
You don't get to headline this, whatever this venue is, without being good.
Dude, they're incredible. They play a bunch of original songs, and then they do a Pixies cover. And I'm like, how old are you?
Those are cool kids.
Did you play in this set list at lunch?
Thank you, Polite Hostility. That is more of a white stripesing. At Mates of State, one of them would have been on like a synthesizer. So these kids, they just wail.
They just fucking absolutely wail.
Do you remember the name of this band?
I do. It's RAUE. I don't know how to pronounce it. Because
that's how Australians say no.
The lead singer. Wouldn't you how they at least say row?
No, it's just it's wild. I cannot explain it, but that's the truth.
We completely stumbled into this band. This lead singer whose name is Paige, who doesn't have pronouns in the bio, so I'm going to use they, them, feminine presenting, was fucking jumping off the top of the drum set and shit and laying down on the stage, absolutely shredding, climbing into the mosh pit.
The kind of shit only the youth can do.
Well, here's the thing. They're 17 and 18. Okay, they look like BBs. Truly and genuinely, and I say this as like an old person, they looked like just babies.
At
but
17
they're
and
so good.
I believe at 17 and 18, their parents have to be there in the state of California. They're not allowed to play a show without.
Dude,
like if the place serves alcohol, they're not allowed to play the venue without their parents there. I love that.
And like their parents were fucking there filming. I'm assuming this is their parents. It had to be their parents, the way they were filming and cheering them on. But like they fucking slapped. But Josh and I are sitting there being like, can you imagine having that confidence as a teenager? And it's well-deserved confidence.
Yeah.
They fucking shred. They're really good. But can you imagine?
No.
I can't ever imagine that.
I had confidence for a brief period in my life from the ages of 27 to 31. And then it was gone.
Fingers crossed mine kicks in soon.
Fingers crossed.
But when I was 17, I wanted to throw up.
It was a very good year.
I'm going to finish by saying I wanted to throw up if someone looked at me too hard.
You still will.
Yeah.
I've seen you throw up when somebody looks at you too hard.
Haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Not true. I do not throw up. Ever.
Sometimes.
I don't ever throw up.
No, she's a lady.
I had confidence for a few days when I was 16. I simply didn't. Anyways, that was strange. But also, hey, a PSA. If you see me out and about in public.
Oh, God.
Don't make it weird. I don't care. I'm doing this.
No, I didn't. No, it's not an oh God. It's just an oh God. I didn't know whether we were going to do it, but we should do it.
Don't make it weird. You can come up and you can say hello. That's totally fine. And that is preferred to you messaging me on Instagram after implying you were watching me, because that is bad.
Yeah,
of you and makes me uncomfortable. Because
don't do something where like if you I understand wanting to be like, oh, I don't want to bother them. They're having a good time. You received a message that simply said, what did you think of the band? They ruled, right?
Yeah, with the name of the band.
Rue is the pronunciation according to an article.
Thank you.
Here's the problem with that message. I know that you probably, whoever's out there, you probably sent the message going, hey, what'd you think of the band? They were pretty good, right?
What you need to say is,
that's the tone
I saw you at the concert.
Right.
I didn't want to come up and say hi, but
this is the way you heard it in your head. Hey, what'd you think of the band? They were pretty good, right? Here's what it sounds like. What's your favorite scary movie, Sydney? Like literally you just contact somebody. You're like, did you enjoy the music show? Who the fuck are you?
Hey,
where are you? Can you
that.
see me from right here? What the shit, man?
Like, don't do that. It's so uncomfortable. It's totally fine. I understand there's people who like get nervous and don't want to come up at the time. Totally.
Listen.
Literally just send me a message and be like, hey, I was also at the show. Did you like the band?
Written communication is, remember that people cannot read tone. You must imply tone through your words.
And I don't know you, and I didn't know you were there.
So in order to, Brit JK's got it. I didn't want to interrupt your night, but I saw you at the show.
Absolutely, totally fine.
Something like that is great.
You could come up and say hi. You could tell me you didn't come up and say hi, but you were there.
Dear robot, you were missing a human greeting.
Right.
That's all you were missing.
Literally it. And I was like looking and I was like, did I accidentally post something? Because I didn't post something. And I'm like, did Josh post something? No.
Well,
Don't be weird.
It's interesting that you talk about this, Saige, because we are going to talk about etiquette, speaking to people online, and how to read things that people post, because Threads launched.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go deep dive into Threads later
we
on this
are.
episode, because Threads is very interesting. And I'm gonna say this, we don't want to get too far into it, but I'm gonna say this. Threads is going to win. Out of all of the Twitter things that might be the next Twitter, it's gonna be Threads if it's one of them.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to
that.
I have reasons for that, but it's gonna be the one. And I'm not saying it's better. This is a VHX Betamax situation.
Yeah.
This is an HD DVD Blu-ray situation. The one that's better for us is not the one that's gonna win. But I think Threads is gonna win. But before that,
let's do a couple of headlines. Let's talk about some things you want to hear us talk about.
I'm gonna do big animation headlines.
Yeah.
Headlines.
Let's give an update to the Colleen Ballinger situation.
Sure.
Because-
Is she in jail?
No.
Okay.
No, she's not in jail yet. We actually
Forever.
haven't spoken about her or about any of the updates since the initial story broke. Because there wasn't a show on Wednesday. So since then, the things that happened were Trisha Paytas' response video.
Woof.
Which was actually brought on by the official leaking of the actual DMs of Colleen Ballinger sending content from Trisha's OF to teens.
Sending nudes of an adult woman
Yeah.
to a text thread full of teenagers.
Yeah. Hey,
Literally did
a
that.
couple of people watch us on YouTube now, so you hear me? I didn't say, I said OF, so YouTube doesn't hide our video.
I love that. I
Look
love
at
that.
us.
We want to make sure that we reach all 500 people we normally reach. This is wild because if you don't know who Trisha Paytas is, we're not going to go into it, but
We couldn't
a
possibly.
long storied history would tell you that if Trisha Paytas is the sane, responsible, thinking person in a situation,
Yes.
that situation is pretty fucked. It's pretty fucked.
I was saying this on my stream the other day, and I'm like, I can't believe y'all are making me take Trisha Paytas' side in a situation.
It's
Trisha
wild.
Paytas has a long history of controversy and of problematic behavior.
Yes.
However, in the last 2 years or so, Trisha Paytas has removed herself from all involvement in any level of drama and got married and had a kid.
Yeah.
Used to be somebody who trolled on the internet a lot and has said over and over again, hey, I was diagnosed with a serious mental disorder. I no longer engage with this because if I get triggered, I'm gone. And now
They
has
will
a
spiral.
baby. Yeah. Uses she and they pronouns.
Yeah.
And she said before that hey, if I get triggered, I'm not able to be a mother to my child right now. So I'm not engaging in anything. And then a lot of people, because Trisha also had a podcast that had just launched with Colleen, had been like, where the fuck's the statement?
This is
Where
the big thing.
is it, Trisha?
I think they got 3 episodes in to what it was called oversharing. The podcast has been scrubbed. The YouTube channel of the podcast is gone.
Yeah.
TikToks that they made together, which were a little,
Yeah.
TikToks that they made together are gone. And Trisha basically said, this is disgusting. You told me that you thought the world of me and that we were friends and that you've always respected me. There's a clip of her on the there's a clip of Colleen on the podcast saying, "Oh, I never even perceive you physically. I just think you're wonderful. I've never perceived anything that's physically imperfect about you." Basically,
There's
I'm paraphrasing.
also clips of
then
Colleen
Colleen
being
then Colleen has a clip where she's like, "Oh my God, Trisha Paytas is a whale. We're going whale watching, and I don't mean
So-
Trisha Paytas."
Yeah.
And then it comes out that she's sending nudes of Trisha. This is a little while back, but she sent nudes of Trisha to these teenagers, going like, "Oh my God, look at her. Could you imagine?
was
Could you
hosting
imagine
watch
being her?
parties for it as well.
Who's into this? Who would like this? It's so weird."
She claimed it was an ongoing inside joke between her and one of the teens. But there's a few things about Trisha's response to
You
acknowledge.
don't get to have an ongoing joke with a teenager that involves adult pornography.
Correct.
You don't get to have that.
So there's a couple of things I want to acknowledge about Trisha's apology. One is, for the most part, Trisha actually spoke very little about how hurt she was by the fact that this is your friend. Because that's fucking crushing. That's devastating. Oh my God.
She stayed
I
out
can't
of
imagine.
Yeah.
And there was a great TikTok that I got from a creator that was like, Trisha Paytas is a better person than me, because if Colleen had done that to me and I found out that my friend was doing that, I would be on my way to get it, and they just kept Googling things like gun.
Yeah.
It's great. Anyways, for the most part, what she does focus on is what actually matters in this situation, which you're sending pornography to a teenager. She talks about the way that this harms sex work overall. She talks about the ways that it is disgusting and repulsive. She talks about the ways that she relates to it as somebody who experienced grooming as a teenager.
It's a lot. It's intense. It's well thought out. And it's an excellent statement on something that people were up until that point minimizing, which is the sharing of this content with minors.
Yeah.
And that's out of everything. I mean, look, there's a lot of bad stuff in this Colleen situation, but out of everything, that one is full stop, against the law, illegal, and wrong, because it doesn't just fall under sending adult content to teenagers.
Unsolicited nudes in itself is its own law break.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's here in California, which they both are, that's revenge porn. And there's a revenge porn law in California.
Yeah.
You cannot
Yeah.
send that content of somebody else without their permission. Even if it's an OnlyFans. The OF, sorry, we're on YouTube and 500 people can see us there. The OF situation is a different thing, because that's actually sharing. It's actually piracy. It falls under DMCA, which is a completely different law as well.
There's a bunch of laws this breaks. And I do agree. I think that, like, you'd probably be labeled as a sex offender. I think that's correct. I don't know all of the
Trisha
legality.
didn't do it with a ukulele either. I don't know. I haven't seen the OF content. She might have.
The response video, maybe, to the apology.
Oh.
I think they meant their response
Wink.
to Colleen. No. Anyways, there are two more things, though, to the Colleen Ballinger update story. One was the surfacing of a cover on the Miranda Sings channel of Gangnam Style by Saige, which was still up. At least the last time I checked, the entire video was still up.
Colleen is very. I've noticed Colleen is one of those people. Yes, but is also one of those people who clearly does not back down, only doubles down, and I don't think will remove this content.
It's also too late. It's not going to do anything.
Basically, we don't really want to play this for you.
We're not going to,
because basically it's Colleen speaking. I mean, it's basically what's called pigeon, which is where you take you derogatorily speak what you think another language sounds like. And so this is the Miranda Sings character doing Gangnam Style with a bunch of nonsense words mixed in with a bunch of real Asian words that aren't necessarily Korean. I don't think there's a single Korean word in there.
Literally puts words like Tamagotchi in the verse.
Yeah.
Instead of just actually covering the song
gets a little
in the
ping
Miranda
pong.
voice.
Do you know what I'm saying? It gets a little ping pong, and by a little, I mean the entire way through.
It's horrifying. It's absolutely mortifyingly uncomfortable. The other accusation of racism was about Colleen doing blackface. Now, this one, if you pay attention, has actually been debunked. What the clip is, with the context provided, is that she was doing Defying Gravity from the show Wicked as Miranda, and she grabs green face paint and puts it on her face. And then the next song was Single Ladies by Beyonce, which she continued with the green face paint on. Will I say that's fucking dumb as shit, and any sort of dark face paint while performing a black artist's song is the dumbest shit you could possibly do, and is still thoughtless and offensive? Yes. It is different than doing blackface, but still, like,
just a total lack of awareness.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and even self-awareness, not lack of awareness, knew what she was doing the whole time. Self-awareness in that she's horrible. And I've seen more than anything that clip of Shane Dawson surface all over the place where Shane's like, oh, she's the worst. And, but in public, she's great, but she's the worst. And that was Shane Dawson saying positive things about her. Because remember, Shane Dawson, also the worst. So Miranda sings... Colleen Ballinger, gets coming to a head very quickly. Hey, do you know who somehow is getting punished more than Colleen Ballinger and faster? Sonic's dad.
Yuji Naka is going to prison.
Yuji Naka, as we reported, dabbled a little bit in the insider trading. Dipped the toe into the insider trading while we was at Square.
Yeah.
Said to himself, I don't like the way I'm being treated at Square, and I'm going to use that as an excuse to do this thing that I know is wrong. He is not the only person. I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet about this, and there are a lot of people that were like, oh, Square set him up. There's a lot of red string going around, but there was this whole thing of like Square hated him, everybody in the industry hated him, so they sort of like teed him up to do this, knowing that he would to get him out of the industry, and that's not true. A lot of people at Square went down for this. We just only know who Yuji Naka is. Here's what I'll say: Japan doesn't fuck around with criminal charges.
No,
especially when they come to. Especially when they come to financial stuff. There have been huge celebrities in Japan, business people, politicians, people in the public eye, where they lied on their taxes, and they're like, well, you have to go to jail now.
Yeah. Because
you lied on your taxes, and we have to make a big example of you.
Yeah.
They don't fuck around over there.
So the charges or the consequences of these are as follows. He has been issued to 2.5 years in prison, suspension for 4 years, and 2 fines. One of 2 million yen, which is approximately 14,000 USD, and 170 million yen, which is approximately 1.1 million USD.
Woo!
So $1.1 million, 2.5 years in prison. In prison?
Dude. And this is after he spent all that money on those fancy top hats. Do you remember how fancy top hats he bought for himself for Balan Wonderworld?
You can't take them with you to prison.
You can't take them with you to prison, see? You're going to have to leave your top hat at the door, see?
And 4 years of suspension, I think, is the equivalent to like probation.
Yeah. Sonic's dad is going to be wearing an ankle bracelet. Cannot go fast. Cannot go fast or far.
It's wild. That's wild.
A lot has been coming out.
It's wild that Yuji Naka is going to prison.
A lot of stuff over the last few years has come out about Yuji Naka, his treatment of people while he was at Sega, his treatment of coworkers, and his inability to do anything but take total credit for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Sort of the way he kind of basically single-handedly destroyed Sega's console chances in the 7th generation by refusing to deliver a Sonic game or to let anybody else deliver a Sonic game.
Right.
Basically got Sega STI, which was the American branch of Sega, shut down because they couldn't put out any products.
The American branch of Sega is called STI?
Yeah, it was a different time.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, the Sega Technical Institute. Yeah.
When they changed the acronym from STD to STI, Sega must have been so bummed.
Sega STI was already gone by then.
Okay.
This was during the Saturn.
Got it.
This was during the Genesis and the Saturn.
I was like, man, that must have been a real bummer when they were like, we're calling it infections instead of diseases. Sega sitting there like, no, shit.
It's like a few years ago, every company that had ISIS in their name where they're just like, fuck. All right.
No, we gotta.
Well, somebody mentioned up top. They mentioned prison Colin, which if you're not familiar with prison Colin, by the way, sorry to Yuji Naka. I'm gonna bake like a pair of red shoes and a bubble into a cake for you. We'll get you out of there, bud. It's not true. It's not true. I'm on team now to Oshima now. Somebody mentioned Prison Colin, which is Prison Colin Sinanen Q-Sol, which was a 60s or 70s Italian pop song.
Okay.
That was written by this guy who noticed that the only pop songs that were charting in Italy were English pop songs.
Okay.
Didn't speak English, but decided to write what English sounded like to him, but did actual research into English and the phonetic sounds of English.
Nice.
And didn't put any slurs or bad words into it. just made up stuff that sounded like English. And if you listen to Prison Colin and you're not really paying attention, even as an English speaker, you're like, am I just not understanding these lyrics?
The other difference is you're doing it to English, and there isn't a massive history of people who speak our language being oppressed.
Yeah, actually, you strike that, reverse
exactly. So, like, you can do that.
To me, it's more like...
That's why we say, like, you can't be racist against white people.
Yeah.
While, white people still hold the positions of, like, privilege and power.
Context, content, and nuance are everything when you're trying to be funny or clever, right? And I think of, like, there was a woman who trended a few years back on YouTube for doing, like, here's what every language on earth sounds like to me as somebody who doesn't speak it. I believe she was a French woman, but she spoke like, her accent was perfect. It was one of those things where she really studied and she did all these different accents.
Interesting.
And it was like a cool, funny video. And it wasn't one of those things where she was doing, like Colleen was doing, where it was like talking a lot about ping pong,
Literally said Tamagotchi in the verse.
Yeah, Tamagotchi.
I mean, it was just racism. Like, it was straight.
I believe Itchy Scratchy was in there.
Yeah, it was literally just racism. It was just her being like, it doesn't Korean sound funny.
Yeah. Whereas this was like, hey, as somebody who doesn't speak all of these language, here's what I believe they sound like.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Continuing on some of the headlines, y'all, I'm real excited about this as somebody who got, I don't know, like an hour of sleep last night. We got a new trailer for Pokemon Sleep.
This is gonna be my new favorite Pokemon game.
Let me pull up this. It was announced a long time ago. It was announced like 4 months ago. Why is it not linked in here? It's so weird. Why do an article about Pokemon Sleep and not post video?
Here's the video.
I got it.
Team Pokemon finally discussed how we're going to... Can you turn on... Do they have subtitles?
Yes.
They talked about how this is going to work. You're catching Pokemon in your sleep.
Yeah. It tells you what kind of sleep you got. It helps monitor your sleep. There's a ton of apps that do that, but none of them do it so cute.
Which sleep is the one? I think curled up sleep is the one you probably want there. I don't know. They all look cute. But during the day, you get different little things, and you're basically taking care of a Snorlax.
I love it so much. This is great. It's one of those standard things that most of your smartphones already do, but gamified and adorable and with characters that I love. I don't use any of the sleep monitoring apps, even though I deeply should.
I have a drowsy power of 6 million.
But you get scores. In the same way that I tell my therapist I really want to get an A+ in therapy. Look, I want to make Snorlax happy. I want to make Pikachu proud.
Yeah. So during the day, you take care of this Snorlax. And as your Snorlax gets bigger and healthier, you have the opportunity to see more rare Pokemon in the evening when you sleep. That's when you catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
And you wake up and you find out what kind of different Pokemon you caught. I love it.
Look, it's so cute.
And all the Pokemon have different sleeping styles. Togepi's a little rocking sleep.
Oh my God. It's
That's
so
if you
adorable.
talk or sing in your sleep. You're
oh
a
my
little
God, and it
Jigglypuff.
audio records them. Oh, that's going to be bad for me.
This is actually a very good sleep app. Like you were saying, a lot of sleep apps do stuff like this. Like I have a sleep app that will record if I speak during my sleep or if I say anything or if I snore. But it can also record like if I get lighter or heavier sleep.
Yeah.
It can tell all that stuff. But here's the problem. I don't wake up with new Pokemon from it.
Well, now you can.
I just wake up with a sense of whether I slept well or I fucked it all up.
Yeah.
This is at least you get a little Pokemon no matter what.
Well, with that, this comes out later this month. It just says late July right now without an exact date. It is interesting that there's not an exact date considering we're already in July. They don't have an exact, but that's fine.
That's fine.
Coming out sometime this month, and I'm very excited to play it.
Can't rush a Snorlax.
That's what they say.
I love the little health style apps that Nintendo is like. I did get very into Pikmin Go, which was just an app about taking a walk.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really much to do. It wasn't as much of a game as Pokemon Go is.
No, I had fun with Pikmin Go though.
Yeah, and they have no plans to add a ton more stuff to Pikmin Go. They don't want to. And they don't need to. It's just you get up, it's a little bit of motivation to take a walk. You catch some Pikmin along the way, and maybe you find a fun hat for them.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was perfect.
It was
Send your Pikmin to your friends.
The only thing that was weird about it is when they did add some functionality. The functionality that they added was scanning things in 3D for Google. And that's kind of what got me to stop playing.
I wasn't still on at that point. Interesting.
They basically added like, hey, go to this spot, and if you walk around it with your phone, we'll give you like extra Pikmin points.
Oh.
And it's like, oh, I'm not going to provide the data for you directly.
I'm just helping you with your AR tech?
Yeah, you're going to have to do that on your own. I don't want to do that for you.
That's strange.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, so Skywalker in the live studio audience says, yeah, just tell everyone where you are. Baby, they already know.
Oh, they know it.
They know it. But the scanning of it, it's like, nah, Google, Niantic, you got a fleet of cars. You got a fleet of cars. They do this in all of their games where it's like, will you map the globe for us in 3D? And it's like, no.
Do you think you could help out?
Do you think you could just help out?
Do you think you could just help out little Niantic?
It would really help out Harry Potter if you would just scan this thing so we had a 3D model of it. Couldn't you do that for your old pal Harry Potter, the boy who lived?
Icky.
Get the fuck out of here.
Those are our headlines. Let's just touch on real quick a couple of things from the Discord. Hey, join our Discord. It's free to do. If you want to see us talk about things, or sometimes you finish a show and you're like, I was hoping they were going to talk about this thing. You know how to solve that? Post it in the Discord.
Hey, you all passed the test. I mentioned Harry Potter and you all said fuck turfs.
Yeah, fuck turfs, everybody. Got a couple of things. Stranger Things 5.
We got a little teaser trailer for it, or full trailer for it. I don't know what it is.
It's a 1-minute teaser.
You're a teaser.
Yeah, it's just some images on this TV here.
Great. Can I tell you I still haven't watched Stranger Things 4?
I haven't watched since season 2.
Woof. Woof.
So it's hard for me because I watch these and I'm like, yeah, okay. Hey, remember when everyone got those 11 tattoos?
Are they doing this on TV in this way because this is the final season?
I do not know.
Probably not, right? They want to keep this going for as long as they can.
I do not know. I got to catch up on Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But people are very excited about it. There was some like spoilery things I'm not going to mention that people have been like pulling from the trailer, because if you want to dissect it that much and get spoilers for yourself, you can do that. But seriously, Anthony, remember when they were all getting 11 tattoos?
Yeah, people were doing that.
Like,
hey, the first season of Stranger Things.
No, it's not about that.
Oh.
It's not about like, oh, don't get an 11 tattoo. Do you know about this?
No, what?
So 11 has a number on her arm.
Right.
11.
Right.
Who else got numbers tattooed on their arms, Anthony?
No, understood, but she is.
No, it's not a problem of her having it in the show.
Right.
People were getting themselves numbered tattoos.
Yeah. No, I get it.
They looked like Holocaust survivors, because a lot of Holocaust survivors had numbers tattooed on them. It was real rough.
Yeah.
No, the side-by-sides are fucking rough, dude.
I don't know. My grandparents had those tattoos, and it didn't look that much like the 11 tattoo to me. I don't know.
It's not good. It was not good. It was rough. Don't do that. Don't get a number tattooed on your arm.
Yeah, I would say don't get a number tattooed on your arm. Even
season 5 is the final season.
Even if, if you're gonna do it, you have to get it so it's visually distinct in a way. Like if you had a big Roman numeral 11 here.
Yeah, totally different than like a little like different. 011 and like the almost typewriter. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
Continuing, Netflix is doing Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, they are. And you know who's directing at least 2 of those films? Greta Gerwig.
Ooh! Thank you, by the way, to Skywalker and Azriel so far for those stories.
Greta Gerwig is going to be directing at least 2 of those movies. We can assume that she will be directing at least the first couple.
Yeah.
So that means we're going to get depending on how they do it, we're either going to get a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and a Prince Caspian from Greta Gerwig, or we're going to get a Magician's Nephew and a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe from Greta Gerwig, at least.
I'm so curious to see. I actually think that this is really great. I think this is one of those properties that's kind of sitting untouched. Obviously, we've had the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe movie, but I think it's been enough time that I'm not offended by us having a remake.
No, I think, they went all the way up through Dawn Treader, and Dawn Treader was a bad movie. Prince Caspian was okay. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was pretty good. I mean, they all had Weta effects, so they all looked good. But
Anthony?
Did you not know?
I thought they just did the one.
No, they did 3.
They did 3 Chronicles of Narnia movies?
They did 3 Chronicles of Narnia. 3.
I had no idea they did
I believe the 3rd one did not come to theaters.
Were they I'm like, were these straight to DVD?
The second, Prince Caspian, definitely came to theaters.
See, I didn't know that. Thank you, Templeman.
But here's
Thank you
the
for
thing,
being with me
as
on
much
this.
as I liked The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe movie.
Yeah, it was cute.
And I was, listen, everybody who grew up and was like a Tolkien nerd, I get it. I understand as an adult why Tolkien is better and more revered and all this stuff. I was a C.S. Lewis kid. My parents really got me into the Chronicles of Narnia, and I really latched on to the Chronicles of Narnia. When I went and I saw The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I was like, this is pretty good. It's not great. It's not Lord of the Rings good, which is what I wanted from it. But it was pretty decent. When you got to Prince Caspian, it was okay. And Dawn Treader felt so made for TV. Dawn Treader's a hard one to do anyway. Because Dawn Treader's basically fetch quest. It's basically like the last third of Wind Waker as a movie. It's basically like, how many places can we go and how many things can we get there?
I gotta see the other movies now.
Do you?
Yeah, because I want to know before the remakes. Anyways, I'm excited. I love Greta Gerwig. I think these are going to be excellent, and I think that it's a cool property to re-explore. I think that's dope.
So people who are in the chat, I saw some people in the live studio audience sharing some opinions. Are we Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is first people, or are we Magician's Nephew is first? Because when I was a kid, the way the books were ordered was the way they were originally numbered, which is Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is number 1. Magician's Nephew is number 6. But in the 90s, sometime during the 90s or the early 2000s, they flip-flopped it to where Magician's Nephew is first.
Everyone's saying Magician's Nephew.
Now, is that because you grew up reading it first? Because I only like it. I like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe better. And maybe I only like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe better because I read it first. But here's the other thing. I believe that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe
can save the world.
Yes. And also that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a better beginning because The Magician's Nephew is a prequel that just explains everything about Narnia. And I understand why that's a nice, neat beginning, but I feel like that's like watching the prequel trilogy before the original Star Wars.
If somebody had never seen Star Wars, I'm not going to start them at episode 1. I'm going to start them at episode 4.
Even though, George Lucas will tell you start at episode 1.
And I'll say, no, George Lucas.
No, George Lucas.
I won't do that.
There are dramatic moments and reveals that work better when you watch it in the order that it came out in.
I don't want them to tap out. I'm somebody who has a lot of love for the prequels, so I say this as somebody who will unironically sit down and love and enjoy the prequels. I am the perfect age demographic to be like, I don't know, fun movies of my childhood, the Star Wars movies I remember seeing in theaters. But if you show someone episode 1 first, you're going to lose him. You're not getting to 4.
Yeah.
You're not getting to 4.
Now we've got C. Dandino talking about the modified machete order, which is the best way.
Bless.
Where you watch Star Wars, then you watch Empire, then you watch 1 and 2.
Interesting.
Then you go back and watch 3
and then 6.
Yeah, because then you're like, whoa, Luke, I'm your father. And then it's like, okay, well now let's tell you about your father. And now let's go back. And it is a good, it's kind of a cool way to watch it.
I see the appeal. I see the interest as an existing Star Wars fan of going back and watching it that way for funsies. If I was showing somebody new the series, we're doing 4, 5, 6. Imagine turning 3, that'd be insane. We're doing 4, 5, 6. And I don't know where we're going from there with a new fan. It depends on the fan. Like, it depends on the person, whether we go forward or backward at that point.
Yeah. It depends on people's...
I might just send you to Andor.
Yeah. I think I might even, if people want to get into Star Wars and they think it's not for them, I actually tell them to start with Andor.
If you've already decided Star Wars is not for you, 100%.
Because then once you're invested in Andor, I can maybe get you to get into some other stuff. Andor to Rogue One to some other stuff is the way to go, I think.
Now, Shafrika said, what about Clone Wars? Now, I love this addition to it, but I think you're only going to get an already existing or now made a Star Wars
Clone Wars is like...
There's so
remember,
much.
That's
an
extra 7 years of content.
Yeah.
7 years of television.
You can't work that
content.
into the first watch. That's now you're a fan. I have a gift for you. There's more. Watch the Clone Wars that expands upon this beautiful, rich world.
But here's what I will say, going back to the Chronicles of Narnia. I think The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe drops you in, surprises you with everything. You learn about Narnia as the Pevenses learn about Narnia. And I think that's a cool way to do it. You're just dropped in kind of in media res. And I think that's the best way. And then if you're still interested later on, you're like, but how did this all start? How did this all work? Then I think The Magician's Nephew is super dope.
Okay. All right, cool.
We need to at least get to the horse and his boy though. You are right. Whoever said that earlier, if I've just wanted my entire life a horse and his boy movie, come on. Are we never going to get there? Are we never going to get there?
We'll get there, buddy.
The Silver Chair.
We'll get there, buddy.
I want a Silver Chair movie.
Yeah, it's okay. Now, let's move on to the main topic of today. Let's talk about these platform wars. You are probably aware by now, if you've literally been on the internet at all, that Twitter is slowly sinking into the ocean to return from whence it came, hell. And multiple things are competing to try and take its place. There was a while we thought it would be Hive. There was a moment we all said, how about Blue Sky? Hell, there was a moment we even all said, what about Mastodon? But one has truly stepped forward to carry the mantle, mostly because of its existing and established ties to a social media platform you're already on, and that is Meta's Threads.
Threads.
Almost got there. Threads on the last letter.
Take it one more time.
The whole thing back from the
just get
hell?
Just get clean. Just get that last bit clean, and we'll cut it together.
Okay, yeah. And that's Meta's Threads.
There you go.
You're gonna fix that in the edit, right?
No, I never fix anything in the edit.
Shit.
If you're watching the YouTube version, I'm sorry. I never fix anything in the edit.
It's just a live show, baby.
We want to talk about, first of all, the launch of this thing. We knew that they were working on a Twitter competitor, bless you, for a little while, but we didn't know how far along they were or whether this was happening.
Yeah.
And it kind of just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Now, Threads came out and they did some very, very intelligent stuff with Threads. Number one, it wasn't Threads by Meta. It wasn't Threads by Facebook. It was Threads by Instagram.
Yep. Instagram generally has a little more positivity in most people's hearts than Meta or Facebook does.
We somehow divorce the idea of Meta from Instagram as much as we possibly can, because for a lot of us, Instagram is the one we like.
And for a lot of us, we were on Instagram before Meta acquired it.
That's right. So when this came out, they were like, hey, you're going to log in with your Instagram account. And it's going to be super simple. We're going to make sure that if you come over to Threads, you have the option to one-click follow everybody that you already follow on Instagram. We're going to make sure that your friends are easy to find. We're going to make sure that this is super simple process for you. And that's something that a lot of these other competitors haven't had, because they, number one, if in the case of Hive, they simply could not do that. They don't have any pre-existing, user base, but also a lot of these competitors, but Hive in particular, had no pre-existing server structure, and certainly not the huge server structure that it takes to run a social network at any kind of capacity. And that's what killed Hive.
Yep. Which means that, unfortunately, it makes Threads the most reliable right now. And a lot of people are saying a lot of things. There's a few things that have already popped up in chat.
And we're definitely going to go through all of them.
Ollie Bishop said Threads is Twitter for narcissists.
No.
Twitter was Twitter for narcissists. Elon's Twitter is Twitter for narcissists.
It's it's all a certain, social media is all a certain amount about self-involvement. Where does the narcissist thing come from?
I don't see it.
I don't
do see
it.
a lot of creators, because I'm having this same feeling right now where it's like, wait, am I supposed to be my Instagram me here or my Twitter me here? Because those are two different me's.
That was a big joke that I saw going around. And also there's a kernel of seriousness in there.
No, there 100% is. I was like, what do I post? Who do I be here? Instagram is supposed to be aesthetic. Twitter is supposed to be funny. And we haven't figured out exactly what that is yet. But the other thing that people are immediately, everyone jumps to as soon as you mention Threads, is once you make a Threads, if you delete your Threads account, it will delete your Instagram account.
So let's talk a little bit about data collection and account stuff with Threads, because this is a huge deal. First of all, Threads data usage or Threads data collection is wild. Now, this is the privacy. Listen, the privacy policy of Facebook, we all know is bad. We all know that Facebook's privacy policy is such that they sell political power to countries, regimes, and governments.
Yeah. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything about Threads being worse than the existing Facebook and Instagram information they already have on you.
Yes. That's the thing is, I think this might be the first time, because a lot of people have been on Facebook since they were literal youths.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been on Instagram for like 10 years.
Yes.
This might be the first time since Apple does here's what an app is going to collect about you. This is maybe the first time they've seen it presented to them in writing. Wired wrote up a really good comparison of how their privacy policy compares to their other rivals.
Yeah.
I'm just going to run down the list of what Threads collects from you.
Okay.
Data linked to you, third-party advertising. They see your purchase history, your financial info, your location, your contact information, your contacts, your user content, your search history, your browsing history, your identifiers, your usage data, your diagnostics, and other data. Now, that's all from if you're on iOS, that's all from within the app, because you could tell your phone, you can be like, apps don't get to talk to other apps.
Yes.
But anything you browse, any contacts you import, anything you do, all of that stuff, that's all sold to third-party advertisers. Now, this is Facebook. They get all that same stuff. Analytics, they also get any health and fitness data.
Yeah, if you're somebody who uses health and fitness apps.
And they're allowed to get something that's just called sensitive info. I don't like that.
Yep.
And then product personalization, obviously they get to...
they use all that same information to personalize your advertising.
For targeted advertising. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But once again, it's standard for Meta. If you already have a Facebook, if you already have an Instagram, this is all information they have on you. Yeah. I'm not saying they should.
No.
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with any of Meta's privacy policies. I don't agree with the way that they use information. Neither does multiple trade commissions. But it's not different.
No,
so
the
conversation is not, I don't want to give Meta this info if only you have Facebook or you have Instagram. If you don't have either of those, it's a very valid take to be like, I don't want to give Meta this information. But if you do have them.
That's right. So that's correct. The conversation that I'm seeing is Meta shouldn't be allowed to do this for Threads, but we should be thinking, oh my God, Meta's already been doing this. That's fine.
Yeah.
If that's not something that you think about regularly and this made you think about that, good.
Absolutely.
Now, Blue Sky, in comparison, they collect your contact info, just your email address. They collect your user content, which is anything you post to Blue Sky, and your user identifier, your user ID. They do not link diagnostics or analytics to you.
There's no targeted advertising in that scenario, and I do not think that will last.
No, it's beautiful.
And it's a beta.
And it's also...
There's no fucking way Jack Dorsey maintains that.
There's no way for them to monetize, and Jack Dorsey is not running this app to be a good guy.
No.
Mastodon collects nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the big point of Mastodon. Now, there's something interesting about Mastodon. And that is...
Other than how hard it is to figure out how to use it?
Yes.
Wow.
That's the least interesting part. That's like doing homework. The most interesting part is that if you look at Threads, there's a federated network that of social networks. There's a protocol, there's a back end that they're all supposed to be able to talk to each other. And Threads is basically that. Threads is basically a Mastodon instance with extra functionality run by Instagram.
Yeah.
Which means you should be able to eventually talk to your friends on Mastodon through Threads. But also, that means that they just basically took the Mastodon white paper.
Yeah.
And put like a nice Facebook and Instagram skin and a little functionality over it.
It doesn't function in any way similar to Mastodon, to be clear. It functions like Twitter.
I mean,
or
Mastodon
Tumblr.
does too if you're only looking for people within your own instance. But that's the trick, is everybody on Mastodon is on different servers.
But then isn't that true for every social media?
Yes.
Isn't that literally just describing?
So each Mastodon is its own basic social network, but they can talk to each other across networks. But
there's no network separation.
But Twitter can't talk to a Mastodon instance. They could add that.
Why can
Threads? Because Threads is basically using Mastodon functionality.
Interesting.
It's basically using some of the core functionality from this federated protocol. It's all based on this open white paper, but they're just like, we want to run the Facebook version of Mastodon.
Yeah.
Because if Mastodon takes off, well, that's great. Threads just goes, hey, we've added functionality for you to easily find your Mastodon friends.
Yeah.
Or your Mastodon friends can talk to you on Threads, and then they don't have to go. And so it's like, we're keeping you within the Facebook ecosystem, but we're making sure that there's a little extra functionality that makes it easier on you. Yeah. Spill is another one that popped up that I'm not on yet.
I'm not either.
But Spill does take less than Threads, but more than the other two. It takes location, contact info, user content, and sensitive info. Also takes a lot of analytics and personalization info, but not as much. And I would say that that's probably just because Spill doesn't plan on selling you things directly within Spill, whereas I think the Instagram store functionality is coming to Threads very soon.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely coming
It comes to every platform.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with your personal information on Threads.
Now let's talk about the concern about deleting your account. So I also find this to be like a strange sticking point for a lot of people. When you do download and get onto Threads and you choose to link it to your Instagram account, if you delete your Threads account, it's one account. So Instagram actually did something comparable when they launched Reels. Reels was a separate app. Reels is now integrated into the Instagram app. So I also see that there could be a future where Threads is in the Instagram app, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think they're hedging their bets. Right now, what they're saying is eventually you will be able to delete your Threads account without losing Instagram. Right now, I think those user databases are inextricably linked. I think that's why it was so easy to do the one-click come over to Threads.
Yes.
I think their idea is they will eventually separate those. Or, like you're saying, maybe they won't, and Threads will be a tab on Instagram, and then they don't have to separate anything.
And I don't see this being a sticking point because it's not like it's like if you delete the app, your Instagram goes away. It is if you delete your account. You can even deactivate your account. You just can't delete it because people are not understanding it is the same account.
Yeah.
They're like, no, they're linked. No, it's literally the same account. It pulls your bio. It pulls, like, optionally, you get to choose this too. You chose to link it to your Instagram, so you've made it one account. It's like when you want to sign up for something and it's like, hey, do you want to sign up or do you want to just like log in with Facebook?
Right.
Or do you want to log in with Google?
Right.
Like if you're choosing to do that, you're using it. You're not linking the accounts. You are using your Instagram account instead of a Threads account.
Right. And eventually eventually they will either be separate or it will all be one app.
And we don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like when Periscope was separate from Twitter, and now you can just do like Twitter stuff or Meerkat or whatever.
You can deactivate your account or you can delete the app. Both of those things are able to do so. You just simply cannot delete your Instagram without deleting your Instagram.
And here's the thing that I don't worry about so much. So like I haven't deleted my Facebook, but I don't use Facebook.
Same.
Because there's no point in deleting my Facebook.
I say the same thing. I was talking about this on my stream and I was like, who deletes their old social media?
Like I understand the idea of going, I don't want to participate in this anymore and doing it as sort of like a personal line in the sand or a personal statement. But as far as like functionally, I don't want to give any more data to them. I simply do not log in or use it anymore.
Chifrika said, however, Threads doesn't give you the option to not sign up with your Instagram account. It does in that you can make a new one.
Right. It will.
They're the same platform
Right.
on two different apps. So yes, you're making another Instagram because Instagram and Threads are the same.
And remember, if they do separate these things, right now what they wanted to do is they wanted to be like, hey, we're giving this to Instagram users first. That was their thing.
Yeah.
And so it's a shared account. Eventually they're going to let you download Threads and just sign up for a Threads account.
Absolutely. And there's people already in chat who are like, oh, I just made a new account. And like, it makes you an Instagram, but it's not like you have to go into the Instagram app and make a new Instagram and then come back. Like, you just sign up like you're signing up for Threads. It's just technically an Instagram account.
It's basically, you're using think of it like a games launcher.
Yeah.
You're using the same account
Yep.
for multiple games.
Yep.
That's all it is.
That's it.
If you deleted your Epic Games account or your Steam account,
Yep.
you would delete all of your purchases.
Now, there's a main feature that is like crucial to Threads, which is the link to Instagram of when you download it and you connect it to your Instagram. It says, do you want to follow everyone on Instagram, everyone that you follow on Instagram who's already on Threads, and have pending follows for those when they sign up? I did it.
I said no.
I did it because I went through and then I just canceled all the ones I didn't want to do. And that was perfectly fine. Dude, it was fucking awesome. I love it. I hate the process. I've been sitting there on Blue Sky being like, fuck, who's on there? Going through my friends' following and being like, oh yeah, I got to find this person and this person and this person again. Look, I don't care any of the other features that like have made this, that are being sacrificed for this. That was so convenient for me. I loved it. And in addition to that, you have a lot of creators right now who are very afraid. It is a terrifying time to be an internet content creator as the platforms are spreading out and dying and nobody knows what they're doing. Having an ability to maintain a following and go to another platform is massive for content creators. It's absolutely massive.
Yes.
Because here's the difference. Let me pull up my personal social medias here. So I'm on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Used my same username and everything. On Blue Sky, I have 160 followers. I did one post saying I'm on Blue Sky. I did the same amount. I did one post saying I am on Threads. I have almost 10,000 followers on Threads.
Yeah, because if there's a thing where you can just be like, I already have a feed full of interesting people.
Yep.
Beep boop. The interesting people are still here. And you're right. You could just call those as you go, because I have seen some people going like, I don't go to the same people for photos that I do for interesting fun.
So I unfollowed a lot of those like meme accounts and bullshit that I follow on Instagram that I didn't really want on my Twitter equivalent. And it was less difficult than finding all of my friends again on Blue Sky.
Now, all of this is added up to an incredible 70 million users on Threads. 70 million. This is the biggest social network launch of all time.
Yes.
There was a post that I saw that compared the amount of time it took people to get to like 1 million users, or the amount of time it took people to get to like 10 million users or whatever. And this is like nothing we've ever seen. This is like nothing we've ever seen.
In addition to it being like nothing we've ever seen with the number of users, there's also been a lot of commentary on the tone and the vibes on Threads, which was deeply unexpected for me. My personal experience on Instagram is an absolute cesspool. I was deeply against going over to this platform just because like I have a bad time on Instagram, and I think that's probably relatable for a lot of feminine presenting people, is like my DMs are a nightmare. They're only following me because they want to look at me, and it makes me uncomfortable. The tone has been surprisingly good on Threads. And I think that Hank Green had a pretty good take and coverage on this, which says, hey, it's me, the guy who's been early to every social media app somehow. Threads is going to be bigger than Twitter. I'm sorry. I don't like it either, but here's why.
No, it's going to be huge. Now,
can we continue this thread?
Yeah, but I do want to say something about the tone of fun. Like we can keep going on that, but I do want to say something about the tone of fun.
We haven't said the tone of fun part. Yeah.
Because, well, you started with that. So I do want to say something about the tone of fun, because there is something here where I see that on every competing social media app for the first few days. Hive was like that. It's like, is Hive the place?
Was like that.
Is Hive the place where we get to be cool and fun? And then Blue Sky was like, this is the place where everything's going to be cool and the bad people aren't going to come here. And it's like, listen, I understand. Being first to a thing, being first to Twitter felt like that. Being first to Instagram felt like that. people are going to descend upon this thing, and they are. And the bad people will come, and the people who want to get the most out of a social network and the people who have different goals in using a social network will eventually show up.
Yes, but no one's saying they won't. That's not actually what the take is.
Right.
And I think that's a misinterpretation of it. It is a noticeable difference between this and Blue Sky right now. In my personal feeds, in the way that people begrudgingly signed on to Blue Sky, what all of their first posts were, the way they're engaging with the community in it, the way that people are hyping each other up in it. And sure, it will level out to a normal platform, but it's about people's enthusiasm for it that will keep the platform alive and continue it growing. People are not begrudgingly on this app right now for the most part in these feeds. And it's big enough that creators that nobody knows the fucking internet better than Hank Green are noticing things like this.
Yeah,
so
sure.
The tweet says, people are having a ton of fun. The giddiness of cultural creation is real. This was enabled by the simple sign-up process, the simplest sign-up process any app has ever had. It turns out this really matters. People will spend 5 hours scrolling, but they won't spend 5 seconds signing up. An Instagram-enabled sign-up allowed for portable followers. People like me create for audiences, and we spend years and yes, decades building up a following. That matters a lot. People with audiences don't want to do it all over again. This creates a bad part of Threads from my perspective. This isn't a great opportunity for new creators. That's going to make it a lot less fun than early TikTok, for instance. But there is an enthusiasm of existing creators getting on there and being like, fuck yeah, let's do this, that no other app has.
Well, and also there's a nice thing of, this is something else that these other social networks couldn't do because they aren't connected to something huge like Instagram. When you signed up for Blue Sky, you weren't like, oh shit, all the fun celebrities or all the fun famous people are here. Nope. Because they weren't.
Not even all my friends were there.
They weren't on Mastodon. They weren't on anything. But when you sign up for, and people have sort of criticized this, but when you get suggested users on Threads, it's some of the biggest celebrities or most famous people in the world. And like, yeah, I'd like to see more other people. But what Threads is doing is they're flexing, hey, everyone's here. Everyone's here already. It was one tap and we're all here. So like, why wouldn't you be here too? And you don't have to go away because all of the other people that you wanted to see are also here. Here's the problem. I can't fucking see any of those people in my goddamn feed.
Okay, you know what's so weird? My feed is all actually my friends and people I follow.
I'm
getting a couple of posts of my friends commenting on things that's surfacing them, but I'm not having the same issue that everyone is having where I like look at my feed and I'm like, who the fuck are all these people?
Oh, I'm getting so much of that. And it might be
strange.
because
I don't know why.
It might be because I didn't do the instantly follow everyone. And so it's populating my feed with more and more stuff to just keep it interesting.
Yeah.
But I am following my friends as I see them signing up or following me.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm not just randomly following whoever. I think it's a nice, I personally took it as a nice opportunity to cleanse the feed. But because of that, when I go through the feed, it's like, who is this? Who are you? This isn't even a famous person. This isn't even somebody that you would normally surface. This isn't even an interesting post. And I'm just getting all this wild stuff.
It's so funny. I kept seeing that complaint. And then as somebody who did do the port over of my Instagram following, I was like, I'm not having that. I'm having other people's posts. The only time I'm seeing other people's posts in my feed really is when my friends are commenting on those posts, which is the same thing I was seeing on Twitter. But there is an update to that. Because of course, naturally, the platform wars are so fucking petty right now. All of the billionaires on the internet are being so petty about the platform wars. It's genuinely hilarious. So Jack gets on Twitter, Jack Dorsey, of course, pushing Blue Sky, said, not surprising. They've never given people the choice to remove this algorithm. Look at Instagram. And then Elon Musk said, a close source algorithm-only system means that manipulation of what information people see is essentially undetectable. Imagine being Elon Musk on Twitter.
I haven't seen anybody that hasn't paid you $8.
But your $8 blue check mark Proud Boys.
I haven't seen anybody who hasn't paid you $8 in months. Not only that, but I have not seen anything interesting in my algorithmic Twitter feed ever.
This is literally happening because of that. So anyways, they have responded and said that they do have plans to add a following only feed that is chronological based to Threads.
Do you want to know why Elon's so mad?
I do.
It's because of this tweet that Mark Zuckerberg did. It's Mark Zuckerberg's first tweet in 10 years.
Hey man.
The kid, listen, the guy his meme game isn't strong.
No.
But it exists at least.
Hey, that's honestly pretty funny.
That's honestly the only way to get Elon's attention, and the only way to anger him is via a meme.
Yeah.
And he knows that.
And that's pretty fucking funny. His first tweet in 10 years is that. Come on.
Now
I'm sure, look, I don't think that Mark Zuckerberg has like real human thoughts or feelings, so it was probably someone else on his social media.
Oh yeah, of course.
But whoever's on there, hilarious.
They had to explain that, like, Mark Zuckerberg immediately said, because he's a robot, they showed him that picture and he tried to tap every Spider-Man.
Yeah.
To just get into a website.
Right.
And they were like, no.
No.
You know, the job isn't pattern recognition here. And he goes, yeah. Sweet Baby Ray's?
Pulled out some hot sauce?
Yeah. Elon, after this tweet went out, did, of course, threaten to sue.
Yeah.
He said, hey, we're gonna sue.
Mm-hmm.
They sent a whole letter that said, hey, and it was a real letter from, from Twitter's counsel.
Yeah.
That said, yo, you have taken our intellectual property. You have taken X talent of ours, and you're using insider information and industry secrets to make your platform. To which, number one, no, they stole it from Mastodon, which is open source. Number two, you fired all those people, idiot. What are they supposed to do? You know just as well as anybody else that if you fire somebody with a level of expertise, they are allowed to continue working in that field without threat of legal repercussions because their employable expertise is in a certain area.
Yeah.
You fired people who understand how to make text-based algorithmic social networks. What did you think they were going to do?
Fucking chum.
Become wood carvers? Did you think maybe they would start writing illuminated manuscripts to stay away from coding computers? Absolutely. You fired them, you fucking idiot.
You absolute fool. Truly, each day, Elon wakes up faced with the consequences of his own actions and goes, well, this can't be right. They can't do this to me.
How did this happen? Where did this come from?
Who did this?
Nobody saw this coming.
Who did this to me?
Who did? And his mother.
They're not allowed.
And his mother, who I believe sleeps in the room.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So.
I don't know. But I believe probably sleeps in the room just in case he wakes up with like a.
I think it's like a 2-bed hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not far enough apart.
Do you think that he sleeps on like a California king?
I think she's got a twin.
She's got like a little trundle bed at the bottom, like when it's 3 people.
Yeah.
When it's 3 people at the hotel and you're like, can you bring up the little bed for the little baby?
Or teenagers' bedrooms in the in like 80s sitcoms, how they always had the pull-out bed under for sleepovers.
That's exactly what it is.
Can you imagine being popular enough as a teenager that your like parents bought you a bed that was accommodating for sleepovers? Like you designed your room around having sleepovers?
I had bunk beds, but I very rarely had sleepovers. I just thought bunk beds were cool.
I had a loft bed.
And my parents were like, what do you want bunk beds for? And I was like,
friends.
They didn't intimate that like, hey man, you don't have a lot of people come over. They were just like, what do you want bunk beds for? I was like, I think it's cool to be able to sleep high or low. Cause I also didn't want to tell them that I was aware that I probably wasn't going to have very many friends come over. It was inspirational, aspirational bunk beds,
Yeah, no, see, I had a loft bed so I could be like, oh no, I couldn't anyways.
Oh no, sorry.
Oh no, like usually I would probably have a lot of people sleeping over, but it's probably because of my my loft.
It's just my loft bed makes it very hard to do.
So that's why nobody asks to.
So what this means is Elon Musk is afraid of threads because why wouldn't you be afraid of threads? Twitter is sinking like a stone.
Mm-hmm.
And Threads is now, at least this week, the new hotness. Now, we're going to find out whether it continues to be the new hotness. I believe it will.
Yeah.
I believe it will if they implement some things that people are looking for very quickly. One of the biggest thing is, of course, this algorithmic feed.
There's a little more from Hank's thread that I think is very interesting on the algorithmic feed. So yes, the algorithmic feed. Threads is like TikTok for text. I followed an astrophysicist and I started getting a bunch of astrophysicist content. It isn't about the follower graph, it's about giving me content I want. This won't be perfect for a while, but it's an expertise that Meta has been developing, and I think text is actually well designed for it. It's throwing everything at me right now, but I can already feel it getting to know me. And as a result, a better algorithmic feed is content is more likely to find its best audience, even when it's on smaller accounts. And when more content find its audience, it gets more reward signals, and that content gets more reward signals, gets created more.
Right.
This is the loop that creates content on platforms. So I think that's a very good point.
I do. I think that's good and bad, right? Like it's good that it understands what people want, and it's good that people can then follow more people that make content that they enjoy. But then you also get things. You get specific trends and types of content, and then you also get to the place where a lot of people feel like on any other content creation platform, which is I'm limited to what the algorithm wants. We're not there. I'm thinking 5 years down the road, but we have to think about that.
Do you feel that way on TikTok?
I don't create on TikTok, so I don't know. But I have heard TikTok creators being like, if I don't do this kind of thing, people don't watch my TikToks.
Well, here's what I'll say. One, as a consumer, I never feel that way on TikTok. And the only difference is TikTok's very good at it.
Right.
It's only because TikTok's doing such a good job that I'm not like, man, I don't see the things I want to see. There is a following feed on TikTok, and in theory, there's going to be one on Threads, and that solves the problems to me. Having the side-by-sides is excellent. I still do want an algorithmic feed because I want content creator stuff to reach new people.
No, I like curated stuff or content or algorithmic stuff because I like to find new things, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to keep following the same people over and over again. But chronological is extremely important, I think, more important for text-based stuff than for video-based stuff. Twitter became popular because you could see what was happening at the moment in your friends, at an event.
Agreed.
Like, all of this different stuff. Text is like, I'm doing a quick update or a quick link. This is how like a normal person uses Twitter.
Yeah.
Not a content creator, not like a news outlet, but it's like, this is what's happening right now, or this is what's important to me right now, or this is what I want to know right now. And an algorithmic feed, going through that feed, I'm seeing stuff that's 2 days ago, 15 minutes ago, 4 hours ago. And it's like, this is not necessarily the way I want text-based stuff.
Which is why they do say that the following feed will be chronological, and I think that that'll be huge. As somebody who does occasionally create on TikTok, there has never, and I truly mean never, as somebody who has created on pretty much every platform at this point, there has never been an algorithm that is kinder.
Okay.
I have never had a better experience with it. As somebody who does not cater to the algorithm, as somebody who does not, I make a dumb video, I put it on the internet.
Yeah.
There is a level of reach that it is guaranteed to have if there's just somebody that's interested in the thing I'm interested in.
Yeah.
That it doesn't happen on any other platform.
I think it's...
If I talk about neurodivergency, the fact, like the likelihood of it finding other people that are interested in neurodivergency content is like exponentially higher than if I post it on Twitter, if I post it on Instagram.
Sure.
I
think that's also just, there is something where TikTok is just the place where neurodivergents have found to hang out.
But that's not that's one video I've posted.
I know, but and remember, I'm not like coming in to debate you about like threads or anything.
Right, but I'm saying that's like
I want to know
thing that doesn't apply when you're talking about this is a thing that TikTok is good at with niche and algorithm.
No, their algorithm, TikTok's algorithm is great. But there's also something about, if I just go to TikTok and I want fun, funny, interesting videos, I don't necessarily care what order they come in.
Yeah.
Whereas when I go to something that's like quicker and text-based, I do want more of that. And so I'm glad that the following feed will be chronological. I hope there's a chronological feed implemented very soon.
I hope it's soon.
Because that's the biggest thing that I think people are looking for right now. And as a matter of fact, Saige, people are looking for a lot of things on Threads right now. And that's why I decided to help them. I'm in a very unique position, and I don't just mean because I'm sitting next to Saige Ryan, and not a lot of people get to do that, and she's a wonderful person. I am saying that because I am verified on Instagram, but I don't have a lot of followers.
Okay.
My check mark transferred over.
Yes.
Which means I am verified on Threads, but people on Threads don't know who I am.
Your check mark, your following, and your block list will all transfer over.
So people on Threads, I'm verified, but they don't know why I'm verified. So here's what I said on Threads. Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony Carboni, the creator of Threads. Please let me know if you have any questions or feedback. And I have a check mark. So,
how many likes did that get?
A lot. And a lot of replies. I have over 100 replies to it. Hold on, that's not the point.
I just want to see what the reach is. We're learning the feeds.
I know, I'm looking for something though. So somebody was like, can you verify my account? Yeah, okay, I did it. Can you see it? You may need to restart the app. Anthony, did it work? I didn't see you in the verified area where we're all hanging out. Obviously not, and I'm reporting you to HR.
Nice, good.
I got, let's see. Some people knew that it was a joke.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
I'm back. But I did get a lot of people that got kind of angry at me. So here we go. Here's one that was like, is there going to be an account switcher, draft page, and API to interact with in the future? I don't know. That all sounds pretty complicated. I didn't even read all the way through that sentence. We're thinking about adding that emoji of the melting smiley face, though, for when someone says something and you're like, sheesh. You know the one? I'd show it to you, but we haven't added it yet. He says, okay, understood, thanks. No biggie, just happy to be here. Great job, by the way. Thank you, I made it with my grandma. Let's see. I think we need an option for pin for sure. Mm-hmm. Pins, Barack, baby, you got to learn to live in the moment. Threads are all around us, happening all the time. The past is icky and permanence is double gross. Come be in the pin list now.
Thanks for the clarity.
Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah, right.
People were definitely like.
There was a healthy mix of people that took it seriously and people that got the joke.
Is there any way to get your feed to appear in chronological order from the newest post onwards? There is, but like, please don't. Like, I'll tell you if you really want, but I'd appreciate it if you just did the algorithmic one. Ted worked really hard on the algorithm and he's been having a rough time lately. He says, ugh, I'm kidding. You can tell me now.
All right.
Yeah. Where's my favorite?
Where is your favorite?
Oh, this is great. There's no option to turn off video autoplay. The notifications tab is too cluttered. It needs content search. It needs an edit function. Hey, bud, when I said I wanted questions and feedback, I was mostly hoping people would say, like, good job, or how did you think of something so cool? Could you say something like that instead? 7, add an image macro meme generator. No.
So serious. So embarrassing. Did Twitter have the option to turn off autoplay on videos? Because
I believe so.
If it did, I didn't know. And my Twitter's been autoplaying videos, much to my chagrin, for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. Does your Twitter not autoplay videos?
I think it does.
My Twitter autoplays videos.
I think it does. It just doesn't autoplay them with audio.
No, not with sound.
Not with sound.
Which, same. Neither does Threads.
Yeah. When are we getting GIFs, and are we getting a timeline just for people we follow? I have GIFs, but I don't want to give them to everyone else because it makes me feel special. Threads has GIFs. Fair play. Great job on the launch. A GIF of me saying thank you.
I have it not autoplay if not on Wi-Fi. So they have that as like a conservation option for your data, but not as just like a setting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Everything on Twitter autoplays for me. Again, not with sound. Same with Instagram. Instagram autoplays for me as well. But Instagram is the app I most frequently accidentally fumble to turn the sound on.
Really? Oh yeah. God. I'm always like,
Constantly.
I'm going back and forth between things, flipping the switch on and off.
It's just that little, if you just tap it, it plays sound.
Here's somebody who's joking. My dad went out for a pack of smokes 31 years ago and never came back. Do you know where he is? Sweetie, we're meta. We know where everyone is. Tell her.
We have weird things with like hashtags and tags right now. Yeah. A lot of features are still being added.
Hashtags, please. Okay, people have been asking, so I'm going to be real with you. We can't add them. We have no idea why. It just breaks. Honestly, don't even type the little symbol in a thread. Every time someone does, the whole server goes down. She replied, and Threads doesn't want to show it.
That is censorship.
That's censorship. Why are you censoring me? I want to find my favorite one.
Take your time.
I'm going to take my time.
Insta sucks my mobile data like no other app. I would hope Threads is better. I don't know, yeah. On desktop, you can change the autoplay in browser, but not being able to change it in the app is weird. Interesting. And there's also no desktop version of Threads yet.
No. There's no desktop
version. Which is
version.
very common when a lot of these things launch. Like there wasn't initially for Instagram either. There isn't for Hive, I don't think still.
Yeah. And it's not going to be in the EU until they collect a lot of data from us. So once they go to the EU and we all get data options, they've already collected a lot.
Yeah, because the EU is much more tight on their privacy policies than America is.
When can we make the timeline chronological and when will alt text for images be available? I think people really enjoy seeing random content from whoever at any time. It makes it really special when content from someone you know scrolls by, like a shooting star, like whoosh. And she goes,
already was alt text.
And she goes, no, they don't. If I wanted to see someone's content, I would follow them. And now you can, Jill, a whole algorithm full of people to follow. Just give them a chance. If I stop complaining about the algorithm, will you get the accessibility features sorted? Images don't have an option for alt text. I did not answer that because I do not work for Meta. I did not answer anybody who had a serious question that meant something.
No, it appears there isn't alt text yet, which is interesting. Instagram has that feature, so I imagine that'll be a feature that they have pretty soon. I hope that it is. Blue Sky was the one that already has alt text. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be sorted out. There are accessibility issues with not having a website version that can make it tougher for screen readers and things of the sort. But, yes, Anthony?
No reels and weird dances, please. Sorry, is that no reels, comma, and weird dances? Like you would like a non-real way to share weird dances? How weird are your dances? Like, describe it. Describe your weirdest dance. Hell no. I meant let's keep Threads a place for conversations and not dances.
Hey, everybody, here's your reminder that your TikTok algorithm is catered to you.
Yeah.
Everybody who's like, please don't show me teens dancing here. I keep getting that on TikTok. Go to jail.
Do it shit, but don't become a Elon at least. I promise you, I will not ever become an Elon. I mean that. From the bottom of my heart, I mean that.
Great. All right. Well, hey, Anthony. 10:35.
Oh, where's the best one? What a bummer. What a bummer. I've been posting some of them on my stories.
Yeah,
there were a lot of them.
We read a lot of them.
Yeah. Photos and descriptions and automated captions on videos. I'm happy to write captions for your videos. Just send them to me and I'll send you very good captions back. This app is so unserious. I promise I'm super good at copywriting and also understanding videos.
Great, Anthony. We know what Anthony was up to literally all day yesterday.
This is my actual favorite.
Anthony, please.
This is my actual favorite.
You're killing me, bud.
Why can't I see anyone I follow? I don't want to see hundreds of people I don't know before finding a thread from someone I do. You probably follow very bad people. We are only showing good people right now. We'll show bad people later. Valid.
Nice. Anthony's so proud of himself. Yeah, dude. All right, y'all. That is all of the show that we have time for. Social media is a hellscape. And in an ideal world, we don't have to keep doing this. But there was somebody earlier, it might have been DM Bitty Kitty, I want to say. I'm sorry if I'm recalling incorrectly in the chat, that was like, everyone who's complaining about having to switch social media apps and having to sign up for new things and download and give people new information wasn't on the internet or wasn't on social media when we used to do this shit every 2 years. We did Twitter for, 15 years?
Yeah.
We did Twitter for 15 years.
Twitter and Facebook are really the only two that have stuck around in a major, major, major way. And Instagram is now just about that old.
Instagram's 11 years for me. I think I got an Instagram in 2012. That's still a long fucking time. We used to do this shit every 2 years, baby. A lot of us were doing it more. I was doing this shit every couple months. Every single thing that popped up, I was signing up for.
So
this is a very specific time to have been on the internet and an age to be where you were young enough to be like, I want to be all up in this, and old enough to be all up in it.
There were ones that were only around for like 3 or 4 months that we don't even remember that we all signed up for. Shout out to Plurk. Plurk is still around.
Hey, I signed up for Google Plus.
Google Plus, Bebo.
Yeah.
What's up, Bebo?
Blogspot and Blogger. Both, baby.
Foursquare. Remember when we were all like, I want everyone on the internet to know where I am at all times?
Yeah.
That was a thing that we said.
Yeah.
I hope people on the internet can find me in the real world, we said.
Yep. Obviously MySpace.
Orkut. Holy shit, I forgot about Orkut. Wow. Wow. Hey.
On Monday, we talked about my personal alt social media, which was Vainspace.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them. A lot of weird ones. We were doing this shit all the time. Right. You got on Vine. You got on Periscope.
PlayStation Home. Vermal VR chat rooms in 1999. What's up? Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on this social platform. We appreciate it. We appreciate it a lot.
This one is also in trouble.
This one's also in trouble. Do you know what we appreciate? We appreciate you showing up. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, we
We
do.
know that we had a lot of new BBs over the last week. Thank you for coming. We hope that you're enjoying the show. Do you know what we really love though? This money.
Oh.
This money here.
Not what I thought he was going to say.
Give money, us money, give please, we have money now.
We're going to go through and we're going to thank everyone who did. There's a lot of ways to support this show, though. Showing up and watching it, whether it's live. We do the show on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, or catching it on YouTube later, or catching the VOD on Twitch. You can also do things like join the Discord for free. You can tell a friend about the show. You can't make like chewing noises at the same time as talking. No chewing noises. No chewing noises. You can have chewing hand motions and that's it. You can join the Discord. It is completely free to do so. It's not even subgated, babies. We just want a place for you to hang out and talk about the news. You can follow us both on social media. And if they want to do that, Anthony, where do they do that for you?
You can find me everywhere at a Carboni, including Threads. Except for here on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni. And you know, tonight you can find me on Failed Save, right here on this channel. If you are one of the new people on this channel, welcome. We do a lot of different things here. One of them is our D&D 5e live play show that we do on Friday nights. That's coming back tonight, right here.
I will also be there. And you can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channel. I did an extra 3.5 hour long stream last night just because I'm so addicted to Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life.
It's back.
It's back. I'm back. I'm in it. I'm real deep in it. But yeah, come and watch Failed Save tonight. And hey, come and catch the show again on Monday. And if you're a patron, you can get an extra clip after the show. We do a bonus clip from It's Too Early every week that there's a Friday show. Just either a story we didn't get to talk about, something we want to talk about after the show. Sometimes we're just hanging out with you.
Yeah.
You can do that starting at $5 a month. Very cool.
That could happen for you today, right now, right after this.